Okay, I'm calling to order the Water Pollution Control Authority meeting for Wednesday, June 24th at 7:36. The first thing I'm going to call for approval of the minutes from the May 27th meeting. Can I have a motion, please?
This is Christian Dockham. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 27th, 2020 meeting.
Thank you, Christian. Do I have a second, please?
Joe, I believe you're the only other one that was at that meeting.
Okay, I will second the minutes. Any discussion between you and I, Christian?
I did not see anything that was worthy of discussion.
Nor did I. Let's put it to a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes? I have 2 favorable and 2
abstain. I abstain.
Abstention. 2 favorable, 2 abstentions. Okay, let's move on. The first order of new business is consider an act on a request by the Country Club of Fairfield to release their bond for the Fourth Main project. Chris, do you want to give us just a quick background, very quick?
Yeah, this project was done.
Meeting.
Yeah, this project was done. It completed last month. The Country Club is requesting their bond release. The engineer had provided a letter stating that it was inspected and completed. So they're looking for their full bond release. We hold 10%. They write the bond for 110%. We hold 10% for 9 months. So we will still have a 10% bond retainage on that.
Okay. Can I get a motion, at least on the table, to consider to approve the release of the bond for the Country Club of Fairfield?
Jerry, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Can you identify yourself while we're on the phone, just as we do it?
Yeah, this is Jerry. I make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion on the table to approve the release of the bond for the Country Club of Fairfield. Do I have a second?
This is Christian. I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Jerry. Any discussion on the item? Hearing none, I will call it to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This
Jerry.
is Quinn Degner. Aye, Quinn Degner.
Jerry, Quinn, Joe, and
Christian.
All in favor. Unanimous. Thank you, guys. Okay, the second item under new business is the review of the FOG audit and recommendations. Chris, if you can just give us a very brief background. There were 14 or 15 recommendations.
There's quite a few items on here. I don't know if you had a chance to review it, but essentially they did a FOG audit on the program just to make sure that we're in compliance. Overall, we work with the health department as far as gathering data. We came to some solutions. There's still some more that need to be addressed. One item that's going to be coming forward soon is we need to write a FOG ordinance that needs to be, approved by the commission, but that's something that is going to take a little bit of time to put together and whatnot. Also, a lot of the points in the audit pertain to a new software permitting program that we're going to be using. That's going to be implemented hopefully soon. We don't actually have a date yet, but it's out to bid. So once that's implemented, it would take care of quite a few points on this audit as well. So.
Chris, if I ask you, I know we have at least one new member this year,
yes.
And not understanding, just FOG, just explain to it what we do with the restaurants. Really.
So the FOG program is fats, oils, and grease. So we have a permit that essentially the restaurants have to comply with to eliminate the grease and the discharge into the sewer. So new restaurants, any restaurant, we try to keep a good path, of maintenance, so that we don't get blockages in our sewer. Grease causes a huge problem. But with this program, it's to eliminate any kind of grease buildup in the sewer. So
This is Bill. It's a state mandated program that municipalities have to enforce.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill. And the one thing I will add is, as I was reading the recommendations, some of the responses were, because we only have a 2-person department, there were not enough resources to go out and do some of the inspections and do some of the items that were on the audit recommendation list. And I just questioned the department whether there would be an opportunity to add a part-time potentially to the department. Obviously, we're past the budget season, so we're talking about next year's budget, and potentially for this year maybe bringing a part-time, I'll call him a consultant, to work it through this year, and then maybe just bring them over to the department next year. I just wanted to put that on the record.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or any other discussion items?
So this is Quinn. I thought I remember reading something. The inspections, is this true? The inspections, no, they found out no inspections were done since 2012. Is that true? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that's correct.
That's crazy.
So I'm a little confused on what I thought there was supposed to. Are the 2 people that are currently involved in this supposed to be making the inspections?
No, there's
No.
we had a part-timer back in 2012.
Okay.
He's since retired. So what we went to now, and this was directed from Joe, we wanted to do a self-reporting system. So the restaurants per se would report their receipts to us to show that they've been collecting the grease. Once we go to an online or this new permitting program, it would be a lot easier to track this. But now with the new permit that we have, we require them to be in compliant with their FOG permit. They have to supply us with the receipts for the FOG
the pickup of
disposal.
The pickup of the oil and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. Got it.
You think that's the best way to do it?
This is a new system for us. We're trying it. Bill, you can contest as well. As we do have a good program as far as maintenance on the sewers. So we're trying to hit it both ways. Getting the restaurants to comply as well as doing maintenance on our lines. So.
Yeah, we do a lot of maintenance work. This is Bill. We do a lot of maintenance work, especially down in the center of town, early in the morning, so we get there before traffic and things like that. We usually take care of it before Memorial Day. With COVID-19, we haven't done it this year, so as we just got back to full staff, so we'll probably do it right after the 4th of July. We'll get that and hit all those areas. We had roughly 9 backups last year, and 2 of them were attributed to grease. Both were in residential areas, not in commercial areas. So we've been very successful in our maintenance program as far as staying ahead of the grease-related blockages. And then anytime we do get any kind of blockage, or sometimes we catch them before they become bypasses, and then if it's in the area of a known restaurant or anything like that, we'll go in and ask them if they're having any issues with their AGRU, which is an automatic grease recovery unit that most of the restaurants use. So most of them are a company called the Big Dipper that they put in, and then that catches the grease before it gets out into the collection system.
Okay, so this is Quinn. Stupid question. Then why are these blockages happening? Is because one restaurant's Big Dipper's not working, or is it because people are cheating?
Which blockages? The other blockages?
Yeah, you said we had sometimes you said we had 2 blockages not in the main street area, but normally you go in and you do maintenance. So the maintenance that you're doing, is that because people are not abiding by the rules, or is it because one restaurant's, would you say, Big Dipper is broken down?
No,
Or you don't know?
Not necessarily. I mean, we just do preventative maintenance just to maintain the sewers. We could get, grit settling out. We can get other root systems that get in the lines. There could be a number of rags. There could be a number of different things that block the sewer. If we do happen to find a sewer where we get a lot of grease that we're either PMing it or just running it on a routine basis, then we'll go back and we'll check, who's connected to the collection system in that area and go back and, see if they're AGRU or they're complying with the system. They're supposed to be keeping quarterly records, so we can ask to see them at any point.
Okay, got it. So we're here to adopt all these new measures. Is that what we're voting on here?
No, it's just to bring it to the commission
just bring it to our
review.
Yeah,
okay.
Just bring it to our attention, and if we see anything and we have ideas, just let us know. That's all. This is a review.
Okay.
We don't need anything on this
Got
one.
it.
Okay.
Okay? And again, same with the next item. If everybody's finished with the FOG audit, I'm going to move on to item C, a discussion on I&I fee and sewer usage rates. Okay? Again, we adjust or we review our rates in September. We have a special meeting just for the new members, and we set the rate for the following year, and on the sewer rates, and on the I&I, the last time we reviewed the I&I, and I believe we did increase the rates, was in 2015. Quinn, you could probably, if you remember that far back, you could probably tell me if that's what you remember, or even Chris.
Yeah, it was probably back then. Yeah, it was probably back
it was
2015.
Yeah.
We do not have Dennis on the phone from Wright Pierce, right?
No, he's not on.
Okay, he made that original recommendation. I read his memo in 2015. So basically, we're bringing it to the Commission's attention whether we want to talk about increasing or changing, let me use the word changing, the I&I fee and or the sewer rates going forward. So we're just putting it on as a discussion point right now. We'll get more serious about it in next month's meeting, and then we'll have this special meeting in September, early September, to set the rate for the sewer use rate. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing, and I'm going to bring it up again because I saw it the last time, we do not charge for, and we see very few 3-bedroom units. We charge the same I&I rate for a 2-bedroom, and we use the same for a 3-bedroom. That's the only thing I saw that looked inconsistent from my point of view.
Yeah, we could adopt a third bed, a rate for a 3rd bedroom. That could be proposed.
Okay, it's just something it just looked unusual.
Yeah.
2 bedrooms or more, we use the same rate, and that's the only thing I'm going to bring up tonight.
Well, I also think there should be a separate rate for 3 bedrooms.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to have anything to say on the I&I fees? As far as
no.
the sewer, I'm sorry. Okay. As far as the sewer use rates, the town, I think, has now gone forward and have not raised taxes this year because of the economic situation. So one of the things we probably should consider is not increasing our sewer use rates. I ran the numbers, and also Chris gave us the new data, the water data for the basis that we use for the billing, which is actually a little higher than last year's. I ran the numbers using the $4.45 rate that we charge this year, and we would cover both the department's expenses on a gross basis, that would be the $6 million, roughly 5.9 and change, and we would also cover a $15 million bond expense, principal and interest, at 2% for 20 years. This will be the first year we're going forward. The Board of Finance and the town has approved the $6 million bond for the Sacred Heart project. So we will be paying principal and interest as that first bond happens. And then we have another project, and we happen to have the guys on BlackRock Realty is on. We have another project that we're looking to start probably within the next 12 months, probably sooner, which will also require a bond in the magnitude of about $7 million for the East Trunk Line over by the new railroad, the Metro rail station. So the $4.45 sewer use rate we charge this year, if we don't raise it, would cover both those projects from a bonding point of view, plus about another $1 million, just rounding it, for an additional bond for anything else we might see on a smaller basis, plus covering the department expenses, which is what we're supposed to be doing with this rate. So I just wanted to bring that into the conversation. Probably it will be a bigger conversation next month when we decide what the rate should be.
Joe, this is Christian. Just to clarify for the board, you were using the new water use data that was provided with us this evening to come up with to do that analyzation.
I did not. They haven't finalized that, so I used the lower usage number that we had last year. From what Chris and the department told me is the number would be a little higher this year. So it would build some of our it would build in a little extra
cash reserve.
For our cash reserve if we went with the existing rate. My point was we could stick with the rate and we would cover all our expenses, all our bonding, plus a little extra in bonding, plus we would build a little bit once we figure out what the increase in usage is over last year.
Great. Thank you for clarifying.
And Joe, what is that little bit amount that you just ballpark? What is that little bit amount that you're talking about?
On the bond, it would be, I'm guessing we did a $6 million bond. We're going to do probably close to $7 million down by the railway station. That would be 13. I used $15 million. So we'd be able to bond this year another $2 million in projects and still have that $4.45 would cover us. Then, based on, and Chris, you could probably answer it if we open up to item D, how much is the increase in water usage over last year?
I don't have the actual number. It's very slightly. It's almost flat. I should say. It's only up a little bit from last year. Which, as you remember, we were billing November to March. Now we changed it to December to April, which it took a couple years to get back into the average. The past couple of years we were significantly lower. This year we've kind of flattened out or plateaued. So hopefully moving forward we're in the right realm that we're we'll stay this route.
Okay, so Quinn, let me answer your question. If it's a 1% increase. I'm picking up on Chris's words that it wasn't very large. It would be about an additional $100,000 would go into the reserve.
Okay. Nope, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay, and obviously if it's 2% increase, it'll be $200,000. Rough number.
Right.
Rough number. Yeah, every percent would get us about $100,000. Let's put it that way. Rough number.
Right.
I'd want to run it through the spreadsheet and get it right, but just for general use. Okay? And we've sort of started moving into item D as far as the review of the water data for 2020. Chris, is there anything else you'd like to add on that?
No, we've received the consumption. Like I said, it's pretty flat. It's almost the same as what it was last year. This is a lot sooner we're getting this data than we have in the past. If you remember, we were getting it right before the meeting. But there's a couple more adjustments they're going to have to make on it, so it's going to be adjusted a little bit. So it's not set in stone yet.
Okay. And Quinn, if we don't use that $2 million extra on the bonding, in other words, we only do 2 projects with bonding for $13 million, then the money we would raise out of that would be about another $75,000. So it depends on which way that's going to go.
Right. Got it. Yeah, we'll talk about this next month. Definitely.
Yeah, next month. I just wanted to introduce it. It was on the agenda.
No, it's a good idea.
Okay. I'm still working on items C and D under new business. Anybody have any other comments, questions that you want to bring up now?
Mm-hmm.
Hearing none, I'm going to move to old business. Jason, you're up. Right now, it's consider an act on a request by J. Edwards and Associates to connect 40 apartments with 45 bedrooms at 15 Umpqua Road to the Fairfield sewer system. So, Jason, do you want to give us an overview? I know you were presented about 2 months ago, I think it was.
Yeah, sometime back in February, I guess, or January. Right. Yeah, basically the existing site, you've got multiple uses in there now, and basically 2 separate buildings. There's some retail and restaurant space in one, and then some professional offices in the other. The plan is to basically demolish those, construct a new 4-story mixed-use building with storefront along Umpqua Road, and I guess 40 units of apartments. Now, the one thing that has changed just in the last day, the usage that we had calculated on this back then in March or whenever it was, the possible tenant was going to be the existing deli that's there now, was considering moving into the new space. That's now off the table. So the numbers there would change, and we're also potentially reducing the number of bedrooms in the project by 5. So I know that there's been coming through the grapevine to us rumors that the commission may require that the existing 8-inch pipe in Umpqua Road be expanded to handle the capacity of this project. Now, I'm basically wondering if we reduce our outflow, significantly enough to avoid that. What level do we need to reduce it to avoid having to increase that pipe or replace that pipe? That the modifications I just mentioned would bring us down to about 79% usage, which is below 80. And if that's the case, then I'd ask that if that's low enough to avoid having to replace the pipe, then I'd ask that we table it and we submit new calculations that would, satisfy the commission. But
okay, and you're pretty.
Can I just weigh in on this real quick?
Yeah, can I just give a little background to
go ahead.
Some of the guys that just real quick background. Right now we've got we have 2 projects that are going on right now, 98 units up Umpqua Road a bit, right by the Turnpike. And then we've also approved 19 Umpqua Place, which is going to be, I believe, a 5-story, 26-apartment building that just went through zoning and got approved last night. So we've already approved two projects in that area, and the concern that we're getting is it's an 8-inch pipe going down that connects all the way out to the Old Post Road and down that way to a 10-inch pipe. The original calculations, based on the way it was presented, looked like we'd be over 80% utilization on that 8-inch pipe, and we would have to do something about that. Now, Jason's obviously bringing in a different data set that we're going to have to recalculate. So that's the background, basically, on this 3rd project coming into this area.
Yeah, one question I have, Jason. This is Chris.
Yep.
Hi, Chris. By reducing the number of units or bedrooms, you have 40 one-bedroom units and 5 two-bedroom. What would be reduced? Do you know?
I believe, I don't know for certain, but this is what I was told. It would be down to 35 one-bedrooms and 5 two-bedrooms. And then the deli space would be removed, and that would be just retail space.
All right.
And this is Chris Russo. I'm the attorney for the owner, and that's correct. We're down to 40 units, and then the Las Vegas space, Las Vegas won't return if we do the development. So that'll go from a deli space to probably a retail space.
Okay, so just doing the quick math, it's going to save us 370 gallons per day on the residential. And then if you take it off the table for the restaurant, it would be another 1,000 gallons. So we're up to 1,370. And then the retail, if we take the 2,800 square feet times, that's going to increase it by 28. So you're up to, you're not really shaving much off. You're gaining probably 1,300 gallons per day.
Yeah, that's what I came up with, and it puts us to it's 79.9%.
Yeah, I got 80% when I did the math before. So so it's only shaving off a little bit. Like I said, best engineering practice is to not max out your pipe past 80%. If we get a significant rain, and this is including the peaking factor in that calculation, but of all places, we don't want to back up in the middle of the center of town, So.
Okay, so Jason, you suggested we table this. I'm just going to leave it up. So I'm willing to table this to a date certain next meeting and let you guys work out the numbers, the new numbers. Sounds like we did not pick up much. So I'd like to still keep this open for discussion right now. If any of the other commission members have any questions for Jason, it sounds like your attorney is also on the phone, Chris.
Yes.
So this is Quinn. I think we should table it, submit new numbers that we can actually vote on, rather than voting on some guesses here.
Perfect. Jerry, any questions?
Nope, I agree with that.
Okay, Christian?
I agree as well. Thank you.
Okay, so Chris, this could be worked out by the next meeting. We'll table this for a date certain for the July meeting. Does that work with you?
Yeah.
And Jason and your attorney, Chris, does that work with you guys?
Yes, that works for us. Thank you.
Jason,
okay.
if you want to schedule an appointment, we can set something up and sit down and go over the numbers before the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll get in touch with you tomorrow or Friday to schedule something.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm going to go to the next item, item B. Consider an act on a request by Black Rock Realty, LLC, at 160 and 219 Ash Creek Boulevard to extend our approval for an additional 2-year period. What this is, guys, is was June 2018, we approved the building of, I believe it was 5 buildings and a hotel down by the new railroad station, the metro station, and we had in there a condition that it would be for a 2-year period, at which time they would have to come back to us to extend the approval. And we have Attorney Fitzpatrick on the phone, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay, so Bill, do you want to?
Absolutely.
Joe, before you go on, can you just clarify something? Joe, you said the date was 6/20? Okay.
June 2018 was when we first approved it, 2 years ago.
June 20th of 2018, okay.
Actually,
June
my
20th.
records, Mr. Chairman, shows July 25th, 2018.
Okay. I know you guys first came to us on June 2018. So
yeah,
July,
and
I stand corrected, July 2018 at that meeting.
Correct. And that approval, first of all, I'm Bill Fitzpatrick. I'm the attorney representing Black Rock Realty. That approval included, as Chairman put forth, a condition that the approval would expire after 2 years if the project was not commenced. We're only 1 year or 1 month away from that deadline. In the interim, my client obtained Conservation Commission approval for the project May 3rd, 2019. So as you can see, that took almost a full year. And we have now received Town Plan and Zoning Commission special permit approval, as well as a text amendment approval for the project on May 7, 2020. So basically, zoning took yet another year after conservation. Bottom line, 2-year condition of approval is running out. We've spent 22 of the 24 months obtaining town approvals. My client is now, like everybody else, dealing with the unknown ramifications of this COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, to give ourselves a little breathing space, we're requesting a 2-year extension of the permit. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Bill, for clarifying. So,
this is question. Go on, Christian.
So I two questions. Does the scope of the project has not changed since we originally approved the project in July of 2018?
No, it is still 5 residential buildings and a hotel that we're talking about. That's correct. It's the same.
Bill, do you have any idea? I'm sorry, Christian. Go ahead, Christian.
My second question, and this is just more for the commission and for the department. Is there a number of how many other projects are we seeing that are coming up on that 2-year boundary that may have similar issues in terms of COVID-19 and the impact of this pandemic? And if we don't know that tonight, is there a way to look at that and have that available for next meeting?
Yeah, we can provide that for next meeting. We'd have to look at the records to see what was approved and when.
Thank you very much.
Bill, this is Joe again. Can I ask you, are you guys shovel ready? I mean, are you within a month of starting, or where are you?
I asked my client that question, Joe, and the response was they've got other existing projects that they have to deal with the pandemic ramifications right now. And, there's a great deal of site work to be done. I think we're in a position to start. He'd love to start in the next few months, but he's got a lot of things that he has to deal with at the same time. We're looking for some breathing room.
Got it. Okay. So just for the rest of the commissioners, I went back when I looked at it, although I looked at the wrong date, July 2018, there were 2 other conditions that we should all be aware of. One is they would pay the I&I fee, which hasn't gone up, by the way, at the time of pulling the permit. So even if we extend it, that was covered in our motion, number 1. Number 2 might be a little bit more troubling to everyone, and maybe not. There was also a fee that was going to be paid for $150,000 when they pulled that first permit. I believe it was to reline a pipe, not to replace it, but to reline the pipe over near Ash Creek. Is that right, Chris?
Correct, yes.
Did I read that
yep.
right? Okay.
Yep.
So my only concern, by extending it, is that pipe still going to cost us $150,000, or is that? I know the costs on all our other projects continue to go up. Is that still a reasonably good number, or we don't know?
There would be no way. This is Jerry.
We don't know.
No, in that.
Okay.
Hi. 2 years. What we've seen with the other projects. Also, we said that it's 5 buildings and a hotel. Is all the apartments and everything number the same as it was before, and the hotel the same as it was before as it was 2 years ago, or has any of that changed as well?
No, the number we use there, Jerry, is the same. It's a 120-room hotel, and if memory serves me, 357 residential units in 5 buildings.
This is Sam Ermelstein, a developer. Can I jump in?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Sure. So yes, I remember the discussion from last time. Everything remained the same. We have tried our hardest until we got the approval, ready to go. And Bill is right. We're hoping to get started in the next few months, but we still need a certificate from the State of Transportation, Department of Transportation, which, being COVID, it's not an easy task to get at this time. So we're trying our best. We're working the hardest to get as well. And as soon as we can get that, and I think the only other issue we're waiting is the flood zone has to be relined. So we're waiting for that as well, which I know my engineers are working with the town. So we're almost there, but we're not there. We want to get started as soon as we can. I want to address the $150,000. We had a discussion at that time. The $150,000 was the price that we got to line the pipe. But the town has decided at the time, the board has decided at the time to replace the pipe, and in addition to us contributing the I&I fees, we'll contribute additional $150,000 for that to reline that section. Not to just to basically put down a new line on that section. So it wasn't so much as we're not actually going to line the pipe because this is just an additional amount of money we're going to give to the town on top of our I&I fees.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
So this is Quinn Degner. Since you are almost shovel ready, why do you want a 2-year extension?
Because you know what? It took us 2 years to get to this point where I didn't believe it's going to take us 2 years. Still waiting for the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and we're still waiting for again the flood line to be aligned. Then we still have a lot of site work before we can pull a building permit for building. We have a tremendous amount of site work that we have to do. So, and being that we're dealing with COVID, we're dealing with companies they're not fully staffed. We're dealing with the state certificates. We don't know when we're going to get. And we're dealing with banks, hopefully to be able to get everything rolling. They're not working at full capacity as well. So we didn't want to get rolling tomorrow, but we want to get rolling a year ago and 2 years ago, and it took us 4 years to get to this point where we're right now. So just to be on the safe side, we're asking for 2 years. If you feel that 2 years is a little too long, I understand. But just to give us some breathing room, like Bill said.
Anyone else have anything?
Jerry, the only question I would have, and that's really for the commission, is we saw what happened at Sacred Heart, and we could be running into the same situation now, as far as cost goes.
Mhm. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Chris, do you want to weigh in for the department? What's your feeling?
My suggestion would be that we get 3 quotes for the lining. Over time the construction costs have escalated. My thought would be or suggestion would be to table this till next month. Have the contractor or the developer go out, get 3 quotes, come back to the commission and present those, and then we can vote on it next month.
Mr. Chairman, could you tell me what the meeting date is next month?
Next month is July 22nd.
We'd have 3 days to spare.
How do the other commissioners feel? Are we ready to take a vote on this, or do you want to?
I would make a motion on Chris's suggestion.
Yeah, I would make a motion
on
Chris's
suggestion.
I
guess the table and get this recorded.
Wait a minute, one at a time. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Jerry, is that you talking first?
Yeah, that's Jerry. Go on, Jerry.
Yeah, I would take Chris's recommendation and we table this the next month, and the contractor go out and get 3 bids and come back to us with the bid results of what the construction cost would be.
Okay. And Quinn, was that you also talking?
Yeah, this is Quinn. I would second that motion because we got burned before. So you want to vote? You got a motion and a second.
Works for me.
I got a motion and a second. I need a discussion now, if you have any more.
Okay.
So I have a motion on the table. I guess it's Christian and Joe, the only ones. I have a motion on the table, Christian, to defer with date certain, table this with date certain till next month until we get, sounded like 3 quotes on relining that pipe. Any further discussion before I call a vote?
Nope.
Okay. All those in favor of deferring until next month? Date certain?
Aye.
Jerry's
Aye.
aye.
This is Quinn. Aye.
Quinn's aye. Christian?
No.
Okay, so I've got two ayes and a no. Is that?
Yes.
Okay,
That's correct.
So I'm going to vote to table it. So that's 3-1. We're going to table this to a date certain. We'll get 3 quotes, and next month we have to make the decision.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. The next item is one of my favorite items, the discussion regarding the Memo of Understanding between the Town of Fairfield and Sacred Heart University. So it looks like last we left this project, we were waiting for Sacred Heart. We asked Sacred Heart to put a clause in the Memo of Understanding to hold the town harmless. And they've added that clause. Hopefully everybody's gotten a chance. It was attached to the handouts. Hopefully everybody's got has got a chance to read that. And we're ready to vote on it. And what we need is we need to vote to request that our first select woman sign the letter. Sacred Heart has signed it, and we just need Brenda to sign it. So that would be what we need to vote on. So if I can get a motion.
I'll make a motion to request that our first selectman, Brenda Kupchak, sign the Memorandum of Understanding between the Town of Fairfield and Sacred Heart University.
Thank you, Christian. Do I have a second?
This is Quinn Degner. I second that motion.
Thank you, Quinn. Discussion on this item? Hearing none.
I think it's Jerry. I
Jerry,
just want to go on record saying that. I think this whole deal stinks.
Okay. Duly noted. Any further discussion, clarification, expansion on anything? Okay, I'm going to call a vote. All those in favor of the request to have the first select woman sign the Memo of Understanding, please indicate aye.
This is Christian, aye.
Quinn, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Quinn and Christian, aye. Jerry, aye. Duly noted, and it's unanimous then, 4-0. Okay, the next agenda item is Bill's going to give us an update on the COVID-19 testing in the wastewater. Bill, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. We did include an email from BioBot about the testing of the COVID. Unfortunately, before we contacted them, they stopped the pro bono testing. So now there's a fee associated with it. Their recommendation is to do at least a 6-month program and probably twice a month for a little more than $1,000 each for each kit, which you'd get 2 kits per month for 6 months. So I don't know how the board feels. I'm not sure at that price it's worth it. I mean, what we're being told from the data from other communities that they've done the numbers are coming back when you extrapolate it out that roughly only 25% of the people that have the COVID really are being tested and finding out, as opposed to another 75% having it through that they identify through the wastewater.
Okay.
That would be the people obviously that are asymptomatic, and I guess what they're saying is it's excreted through the body and it's identified in the RNA of the microorganisms that are in the excretions.
Okay. So, Bill, let me ask you a question. Go ahead, Jerry.
Go on.
Is that you?
No, go on.
No, go ahead, Jerry.
Quinn, go on.
Oh, Quinn, go ahead,
actually.
Please.
So,
go ahead, please.
What was? So I'm sort of new to this topic. What was our plan to do with the data? In other words, if we find that that we feel asymptomatic people, we have whatever the number is, 65% of our population is asymptomatic versus the number that is actually hospitalized or tested positive. What are we going to do with that number? The 60 or 75? Are we going to report it to the state? Are we just be, it's a nice to have? I didn't understand what we're going to actually do with the results.
I think you're correct. I think it's basically just a data point. We would know that for our own verification of what we feel that the town, is experiencing. Again, you got to remember that roughly only about 60% of the town is sewered, so you still have the other 40% that are on septic. That some of it comes to us, some of it doesn't.
I mean, it's a cool thing that you can do. To be honest, I think it's really cool. But I don't know what you're going to do with the data. I don't understand what you're going to do with the results.
I believe you're right. I think it's just basically an informational point.
Bill, I was going to ask a similar question, but a little differently. Have we talked to Sands Cleary at the Department of Health on this?
I have not.
I would before. Yes, I'm with Quinn. What are we going to do with data? And sometimes when you have data, it's a bigger problem. If we turn to the state and say we've got all these problems, who knows what they're going to say to us as far as what they want us to do with the town people. But I would think we should try to tie this in if Sands would have a reason for this data and he can use it to help the health of the town. That would certainly go a long way for me to make a positive decision on this. But I'm with Quinn. I'm with Quinn in saying, what are we going to do with the data? Once we have it, it's nice to know, but not usable.
No, that's a great point. I can go ahead and contact Sands tomorrow and see if he has an avenue to use that data or the data set points with all of his organizations that he deals with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Bill or anybody?
Mm-mm. No, I just think, this is Christian. I concur. I think it's a neat thing to have and to say that we're doing, but I would certainly want the data to be utilized in a way that's positive for Fairfield, as opposed to being collected and put into a folder in a binder somewhere and just to have. So I think if we can make a connection with the health department and see if they have any use for it, it certainly has some promise to it.
And Christian, thank you. That's our scientist speaking, Bill.
I will get on the phone tomorrow with Sands, or at least an email.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else on this topic? Hearing none, I'm going to move on to the update on the current projects. This was a separate list that was attached that got with the agenda, and there's about 14 projects or so on there. Chris, if you would just go through them real quick. Give people,
no problem.
Once you finish each one, pause, give yourself a breather, and see if anybody has any questions.
Sure. So we have the Mill River generator. The generator is scheduled to be delivered by the end of this month. It is a little backlogged due to the COVID. So the site work, as soon as the generator arrives, they're gonna start the site work. Same scenario with the wastewater generator, wastewater treatment plant. There was a backlog on that as far as delivery. So that's about, we're getting closer to the delivery date as far as we know. Holzner has notified us that they were, they're getting closer. The hardening project, there was a little bit of a snafu with that. The pile driving contractor did not have the proper license. They were shut down. The machine, they needed the proper license to run the machine to drive the sheeting. They've since brought in a smaller machine that's going a little bit slower. They're working on acquiring the license to drive these sheets. So that's kind of slowed things down a little bit. In a positive note, the utilities are being relocated. They're working on moving the poles as we speak. We've been working with the gas and the water to relocate in preparation for the road work. So things are moving forward with that. Let's see. The Easton Turnpike Pump Station, we were obviously waiting for the MOU. Once that gets signed by Brenda, we will notify the contractor to proceed. They want to have materials ordered by July 1st, hopefully mobilized by the middle of the month, and start towards the end of July with the project. They're running short now on their paving season, so this is very important that we got that MOU signed. Let's see, discussion on funding for the East Trunk Sewer. We met with Wright Pierce last week.
Chris,
yep.
Chris, take a breath. Any questions through the first
Yeah, any questions?
Guys?
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay, no, that's fine. So we met with Wright Pierce on the Eastern Turnpike, the East Trunk relocation. They're going to, we gave them a bunch of data and information that we had last week. Actually, I just sent Dennis some more information today. They're going to review it. They have a 45-day review period to get us a product. That's going to start on July 6th. So starting July 6th, they'll have 45 days from there to get us a product. Yep.
Let me give Quinn a little background. Quinn, Cardinal Engineering did the original engineering work on that East Trunk, and what happened is the prices just kept going up, and there were people questioning the design and how deep it had to go, et cetera, et cetera. Jerry pointed out at one of the meetings that in his business he wasn't seeing what Cardinal was seeing, so we engaged Wright Pierce to do a peer review. We authorized, I think, $40,000 or so to do a peer review. So that's what's going on with that project, Quinn. I know you have been involved. Thank you.
No, I was at the meeting where he brought that up, that he's not seeing that with his projects.
Okay.
I was at that one.
Great.
But anyway.
Okay, thank you.
It's good.
Sorry.
That's good.
Okay, sorry, Chris.
No,
go ahead.
That's good.
No, that's right. Any other questions on that? I'm going to move on to the next one, if no questions. So the Riverside Drive siphon, I was just contacted yesterday by the engineer, Ty and Bond. They are looking to bypass pump and see what is involved and how they can do it to come up with a plan as far as construction method. We need to do some more soil borings before we can get permitting. The permits, as soon as that's done, the permits should be issued. So things are moving forward with that.
And Jerry, just so you know, Jerry, this is not our project. This is a conservation project that we piggybacked on to change our siphons while they had the bridge open.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, all right, next item, WPCA outfall repair. That has been, all the aspects have been in place. We're waiting for purchasing to approve the PO for the engineering services from GHD. Once that's approved, we can issue the PO to them and schedule the work. So that's ready to go. The East Trunk Wetland Crossing, there's no update on that. That's one project that pertains to the Metro Center that we probably should start discussing and getting in the works get an RFP ready to start that work, because that's going to be coming down the pipes.
What's involved with that work, Chris? What would
the crossing through the wetlands, the pipe needs to be redesigned. So it's undersized right now. It's only a 33-inch pipe. It needs to be a 36-inch. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Item I, the wastewater treatment plant. There's no update on that. I think last I knew, Dennis was going to start working on current flows and whatnot on that. East Trunk Interceptor, that's still in the works. There's no update. The microgrid, we had a meeting on Monday with UI, and lo and behold, UI didn't show up for the meeting. So we had no, there's not really an update on it. So they were scheduled to be there. Now, from what I understand, UI cannot have a meeting inside the building, so it has to be outside in the field. But they were not. No one was present from them to give us an update.
Nice.
So that concludes all the updates on the projects. Anybody have any questions?
I have just one. Anything that you see on any of those projects that's going to need additional funding that we should be aware of right now, or?
Not that I'm aware of. No. At this time, no additional.
Okay. I'm not holding you to it. Just if you happen to know.
No, the only thing that the hardening, I'm not sure. We have a meeting tomorrow morning, a phone call. I'm not sure if there's been change orders submitted or if they've been reviewed or not yet. But we will be notified tomorrow on that. So we do a phone call every Thursday morning. So.
Okay. Without hearing any additional questions or comments, I'm going to move on to the next item: the status on the sewer bypasses. Did we have any bypasses this month, Bill?
No.
Okay. We've reached the last item. I'm looking for a motion, unless somebody has something they would like to add.
I have a question, Jerry.
Okay.
Can we do this in person next month?
As far as we're aware, I did inquire. I will tell you, I did inquire, because it's not the easiest thing to do it on the phone. As far as I'm aware, this is going to continue until further notice. That's what I was told. So they will not allow meetings to take place in person as far as right now. I can't say that's not going to happen, not going to change next month, but we're not the only commission that's been inquiring about this. So
the four of us can sit at the restaurant at Sinclair and have dinner.
I know. Right. So I agree, but this is what I've been told. So.
Okay.
Thank you for looking into that, Chris.
Yeah.
And if there's no other questions or comments, I'll make a motion to adjourn. This is Christian.
Thank you, Christian. Yes, thank you.
This is Jerry.
I have a motion to adjourn, a second by Jerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Good
night, everybody.
Guys.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Chris?
Yes.
Good job. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. You too.
You
All right.
have a good evening. Stay safe.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
You too. Take care.